Presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, we got a lot of work today, okay? This is when it should suck. Life should suck in training camp.
Not a game. We talking about practice.
Every day I'm hustling.
I think just for the young guys, it's the mental. You know, how much can they retain from the last time we were together in June to now? And then the vets just kind of picking up, you know, where they sort of where they left off and you know, maybe knocking a little rust off and getting back into it.
Looks, fires, deep downfield, got a man. That's Christian Kirk along the left sideline. Touchdown, Jacksonville! A 29-yard touchdown pass.
Man rush, throws downfield, looking for Thomas again. He's got it, and LSU strikes back quickly.
Now he wants to throw it back, and the ball picked off by the Jaguars. Josh Allen, has he done enough this year yet? He picked off the double pass and ran it back inside the 10-yard line. Dropping is Richardson, fires deep downfield, and that ball is intercepted by Tyson Campbell. He picked it off at the 43-yard line of the Indianapolis Colts.
Ball, man. Locked in for another 4 years. Love y'all, ready to get to work. You know, bring the Super Bowl to Jacksonville, man. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
Tony Smith, Mike Dempsey, Dylan Denmark here with you as we get things rolling here on this Tuesday. First day in pads for the Jacksonville Jaguars out at training camp. Mike Dempsey fresh in the door.
Good morning, my brother.
From the cloudy morning out at camp.
Nice out, right? Like it's just not the rain's holding off. It's cloudy. The temperature not so bad. A little
breeze. You get
breeze.
A sprinkle every now and then.
You know, they're spoiled rotten, these Jaguars, putting the pads on today, Tony, and not getting the blistering 97-degree heat.
Yeah, there was Jaguars news yesterday, but certainly not the most impactful news in the division. Yesterday across the National Football League, the Jaguars news, just the kicker battle has been won. It's not a surprise, but Cam Little is going to be the kicker as they release Riley Patterson yesterday. So as expected, Cam Little is going to be the man. The battle lasted a whole 5 days.
Bro, Cam Little looks fantastic out there. I watch him warm up every day. And he did miss the 58-yarder today, just kind of warming up, but then drilled the next one. I mean, he puts like 53-yarders through nearly at the top of the uprights. You know, tons of room to spare. It doesn't look like he's got to put this big effort into it either. I'm a little surprised. You know, you always want to keep a camp leg around, you know, not to wear the guy out, but they can manage that, I suppose. There's no real battle. And they do Riley Patterson a solid. As there are kicker jobs still up in the air out there. He's a chance maybe to go back to Detroit. Who knows? But certainly at least get in the mix.
Well, and the biggest kicker question now for the Jags is who's going to be kicking off. Like, it's just how do they want to handle that job for the team going into this new kickoff process? As we talked about on the show yesterday, they are trying a couple different things with that particular position on that play. Right, so we'll see if that changes for Cam Little. He's not the guy I want playing safety necessarily in those situations, but if he is the most reliable at getting the ball to the 15-yard line, which they still need to do, and keeping it short of the end zone, if that's the direction you want to go with it, then it'll be what it'll be.
The team that everybody had talked about as really kind of being the ones that admitted we may go this route was Kansas City, and they said yesterday, no, we're going to go with Butker. He can kick it. It's not just that you're trying to kick it the same kick every single time. Sometimes you want to mix it up. You want to try to go to the corners. You know, you're going to have a couple return guys. Make sure you get it to the right one or the one you want. The Jags did, as we mentioned yesterday, have Patrick Murtaugh, their international player out there. So you figure he's got a soccer background at some point or something along those lines. And, he's got a big enough leg, but –
It looks like a rugby player, but yeah.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's a huge dude. I mean, 6'5", 250, whatever he is. He's got some kind of background kicking the ball, but I think ultimately they'll just go with Cam Little, man. And again, we beat this into the ground pretty good. We don't know, but who's going to show anything in the preseason, right? Why would you?
Yeah.
If you think you got a little something, you're going to save it for week one, and then week one, as soon as you bust one big return on the opening kickoff, they're going to be putting it through the end zone.
I would assume that that's the way that it's going to work out, but time will tell on
see.
all that.
Yep.
The pad's on for the first time today. They have another padded practice tomorrow, then a day off on Thursday. We don't have a day off on Thursday, and I'm not complaining. And neither should you, because we will be having John Shipley in with us for the whole show on Thursday here in studio. The first really newsy day of training camp yesterday, though, with Indianapolis and Houston both being hit by seriously bad news for both of those teams. In Indianapolis, starting defensive end Samson Ebukam suffered a torn Achilles, will miss the entire 2024 season. He was coming off the best season of his career there in Indianapolis, his first there in Indy. He had 9.5 sacks for the Colts. He'll be 30, now coming off a serious injury, obviously going into next year. So who knows what the future is going to look like for a player that it took a little while, but finally had a big season last year for the Colts. He's been a pretty good pro to this point in his career, but had a monster season last year there in Indianapolis. And then in Houston, defensive lineman Denico Autry will be suspended for the first 6 games of the season for a violation of the league policy on performance-enhancing policies. He, of course, said, because everyone does in this situation, no one does it on purpose. Like, no one's actually taken any of this stuff.
No one's ever tried. Like, here's the one I can get. If you're doing it with something over the counter, you don't know what people are putting in these supplements, right?
No.
Who knows what they're putting in there. He claims he went to the pharmacy and his prescription was tainted with performance-enhancing drugs, because they're always at the pharmacy, just like, hey, let me mix in a little steroid action right here.
Sure.
But whatever. Look, he said, NFL rules are, I'm responsible for it. We know that, but they never tell me. Just once, I'd like the guy to go, I was trying to get an edge. And, but you admit that, and maybe the next time around you're a free agent, the teams will look at you and go, well, if he stays clean, is he going to be the same player? So either way, we'll miss him. We won't miss him, but we'll miss him in week 4.
Yeah.
I think.
I think
it's 4. I think they play Buffalo week 3.
Oh,
Houston
right.
and Indy 4 and 5.
Yeah. So Denico Autry's not going to be there for that game. That's good news for the Jaguars.
Well, I mean, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson probably still
they're stacked enough
pretty
without
good.
having another guy of Autry's capabilities lining up wherever he would be for Houston that week. So for at least that game, Jacksonville dodges a bit of something there. The Ebukam injury is a big deal for a team. A few weeks ago, the week you were off, I think it was PFF, put out a list where they were telling you the best team in position rankings at each of the groups. So it would be like defensive line and secondary, like that kind of thing. They had Indianapolis as the top defensive line, which I thought was silly when they did it, right? Like it's not better than Jacksonville's.
Who had Jacksonville at number 1 like a month ago? You remember that? Somebody had,
I don't remember.
Like they had the Jags D-line as the number 1 unit in the NFL.
Right.
It was like, all right, I'm not saying it's definitively that, but it does have a lot of talent on there, a lot of potential, and it doesn't get talked about in those kind of circles.
Sure, and as we talked about at the time, that's putting an awful lot of weight on DeForest Buckner, right, to carry that group. And it's not like Jacksonville was talentless in the middle of the defensive line. And you look at that group Houston would be running before the Autry news especially, it's like, what? Indianapolis is better than the groups in Houston or Jacksonville? I didn't understand it at the time. Now they lose one of their starting defensive ends who was basically a 10-sack guy for that unit last year too. It's going to be interesting to see what they want to do to even replace that. I suppose it'd be Deo how do you say it? Odeyingo? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, and he's a Vandy guy. I ought to know.
If anybody would know, I would think it would be.
Yeah, he's a Vandy guy. But I guess that's the direction they'll have to go with it now in Indianapolis. So we'll see, exactly how far that unit's going to fall for a team that's at least being talked about right now as having the potential to threaten for the AFC South, right? And you can't afford many of these kind of injuries if you're going to remain in that kind of position.
I think a lot of it is how you feel about Anthony Richardson and what he is going to do this year, and some people think, hey, you can't project injuries. His style of play does attract hits, obviously, but that's how he plays. Yeah. And, when he's healthy, he can be a force. There's no question about it. But I think this division is competitive top to bottom. I think Tennessee is going to be a competitive team this year. I don't think they're going to win the division, but if you tell me they're going to win 8 games, I wouldn't be shocked by that. I mean, they won 6 last year. They added. Everybody adds in the offseason. But, yeah, I mean, look, probably more they're looking at the interior of that defensive line when they rank Indianapolis that highly. DeForest Buckner, right? Grover Stewart. It's a pretty good. Kwity Paye is a guy who's a former first-round pick, but has never really lived up to the hype, and that's a big loss for him. 9.5 sacks right off the top to start the year. And if there's one silver lining, it's the fact that there's still a few pass rushers out there, and it's still early enough in the process that they can go out and get a guy and have him in camp for a month before the season kicks off.
No doubt. Ryan Nielsen, the Jaguars defensive coordinator, speaking before training camp practice this morning. We'll get into a lot of what he had to say, obviously, as we go throughout the show here today. Our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day is circled around Devin Lloyd, and wanted to hear Nielsen talk specifically about Devin Lloyd this morning. And he talked, look, we've heard for the last few days, middle linebackers, what they've been talking about with Devin. Ryan Nielsen was asked this morning about what they're going to be doing to move Devin Lloyd around in the defense.
Yeah, and he had a lot of plays last year, so there's a lot on tape. So we've done a good job evaluating kind of what he did last year and his strengths. And then through OTAs and what he's doing right now, and putting him in a couple of different positions to see really where he's best in what we're doing here. Smart player, works extremely hard at the game. You love his size, speed. He's a football player. He's a football guy, football junkie. So that combination has helped him. And he can do, like what you said, a lot of different things. Rush the passer. He's a good coverage player, man-to-man on backs. He's a downhill football player in the box. So a lot of those things, and so we're continuing to move him around a little bit, but he's finding a home, and he's having a pretty good camp so far.
Look, first of all, Ryan Nielsen is walking on 6 inches above the ground this week. He's had a hell of a week out there, right? I mean, the defense has not been shoddy whatsoever, and some of it maybe was some inaccuracies with the offense, what have you, but the defense has been showing up every single day. But you'll love to hear, I think the guy's smart and he's got all the physical attributes, right? I mean, and he works hard. Yeah. Right? Those are basically the key ingredients. So fresh set of eyes on Devin Lloyd. Let's hope that Ryan Nielsen brings out the best in him. No doubt. The Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today about Devin Lloyd. What best matches your expectation for Devin going into his 3rd season now with the Jaguars? Your options in the poll today: breakout season coming, modest improvement, solid player at best, or a disappointment. Your options in our poll question this morning. That was not the most glowing remarks that Nielsen had this morning about one of his linebackers. We'll get to what he had to say about Foye on the other side here as we really dig into what Coach Nielsen had to say this morning. We'll let you hear from Foye as well, as Hayes Carline caught up with him after training camp practice yesterday. We'll let you hear what Foye has to say about the new defense that he's playing in right now, among a bunch of others. We'll have Christian Kirk on the show today. Hacker caught up with Devon Hamilton, caught up with Daniel Thomas. Rick Ballou caught up with Gabe Davis and Parker Washington. As I mentioned, Foye, Hayes also caught up with Tyson Campbell. We'll get as much of that on as we can today. Hayes expected to join us in the second hour of the program this morning as well, from down there at training camp. Day 1 in the pads for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll continue to react to that and hear from defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen on the other side as we get things rolling here on this Tuesday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010 XL.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010 XL. Now, a 1010 XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. The United States has won the most medals, but 5 countries have won more gold medals. The U.S. still at only 3. That could change today with the upcoming women's gymnastics finals. Simone Biles will lead the U.S. She'll be in all 4 events. There'll be 3 swimming finals. The women's 100-meter backstroke expected to come down to Australia's Kaylee McCown and American Reagan Smith, who at the Olympic trials reclaimed the world record from McCown. Women's rugby, the first ever semifinal for the U.S., but a 24-12 loss to New Zealand, who will come back later today and play for the gold medal. The U.S. will play for the bronze. Tennis, Coco Gauff lost in straight sets to Croatia's Dana Vekic. In men's volleyball, the U.S. defeated Germany. Men's basketball, R.J. Barrett scored 24. Canada now 2-0, a 92-83 win over Australia. Spain beat Greece 84-77. With this Summer Games update, I'm John Stashauer, Westwood One Sports.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. And look at you, hands perfectly placed on the wheel. Not like the driver to the right of you who's really going after that drum solo. Save with DriveWise and the Allstate app and only pay a rate based on you.
Not available in every state, subject to terms and conditions. Rating factors and savings vary, and in some states your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Cool the pain with BioFreeze and keep on going. BioFreeze cools and relieves sore muscles and joints. It works fast and is long-lasting by using cold therapy to help relieve the pain. In fact, it's the #1 clinician-recommended menthol topical pain relief brand based on Ipsos clinician survey of chiropractors, podiatrists, massage therapists, retail pharmacists, and athletic trainers. BioFreeze. Green means go. Learn more at biofreeze.com. Use as directed.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
The best game day parking in all of Duval is at Tailgaters Parking. Are you ready for some football? Tailgaters is just steps away on the east side of the stadium. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and secure your season parking pass today.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who was on the pole position for last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are looking for top talent to join our team. If you are a plumber, CDL driver, or have experience installing septic drain fields, come join Duck Rooter and let's win together. We offer our players a full package that includes excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, and new state-of-the-art equipment. Log on to duckduckrooter.com and click on the careers page to apply. That's duckduckrooter.com. Duck Rooter is an equal opportunity employer.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. At my house, we had a feast from Mayport CNC Fisheries with the freshest shrimp around, and it was unbelievable. They also have oysters, scallops, mahi, and so much more. Want to eat like a local? Head to the beach and visit my friends at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
In sports, the grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the amateur's edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. Iron Beach's Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting! Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and it is hot out there. You know that, Greg, but Honda has a plan for you on or off the road.
They do. There's a ton of Honda scooters, Honda mini motos, great for the beach. Also get you out in the woods with a Honda side-by-side. Plenty to do and stay cool.
Yeah, four-wheelers, and you can trick them out.
We can. From stereo systems to big builds, we do it all.
Everything's there for you to see. CyclesofJacksonville.com online or on Atlantic near Regency. Check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Totally locked in. Everything that we're doing, bought into, our style of play, our defense, what we're going to be about. And so he's going out and he's showing it on the field.
That's Jaguars defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen talking about Joshua Hines Allen. Totally locked in, Tony. What did he come into the league at weight-wise? 250, somewhere in that range, right?
I'm sure it's probably still on the Pro Football Reference page. Don't they keep that? Do they ever change it?
I don't know. See if you can dig that, because he's like in the 280s. I mean, Joshua Hines Allen has put on some serious muscle, and I think smart. I think if you're playing 4-3 end, you're going to engage with offensive linemen.
They got him at 6'5", 255.
Yeah, I bet he's put on 30 pounds since he's come into the league. Close to it, 25, something like that. He's just continues to reshape his body in a positive way. You love to hear it. What you'd expect. That's why you give that guy the contract that he got. You don't give that guy that contract and hope he becomes a guy that's totally locked in. You do it because he's committed. He's talented, obviously. He wants to be a part of this franchise.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what a phenomenal gift that was to have him fall in the Jaguars' lap with the 7th pick in that draft. I think it was 7, right, overall?
Yeah. It was crazy. Like, I can remember we were doing shows, obviously, up until draft day, talking about it. And it was like, Josh Allen would be a dream. It's not going to happen.
He's coming off the board at 4 to the Raiders, right? And they took Cleveland Ferrell.
Yeah, I can't remember how many times we said throughout that process, if Josh Allen's there, this is a no-brainer, but it's not going to happen. So we'll throw it out there as that kind of situation. Then on draft night, watching it unfold, and when he didn't go to the Raiders, it was like, oh, my goodness.
Could this happen?
Why? Can they get this guy?
The old proverbial run the card up there.
He was that guy for sure that year.
Your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, which best matches your expectation for Devin Lloyd going into his 3rd season? A, breakout season coming. B, modest improvement. C, solid player at best, or D, for disappointment. And you can hit us up on social media. Tony put out the poll at 1010XL Fat Tony. I retweeted it at MD_1010XL. And, if you want to read about the latest updates on White Claw, you can follow at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws,
Not
baby.
a single one.
Tall boys, baby.
Not a single one. 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. So interesting mix today as some of the regular Jaguar reporters are not down at practice. John Shipley had some car issues today. Hope he's doing well out there if he happens to be tuning in. He would typically be at practice. He's going to join us in studio on Thursday, but we are blanketing it from the 1010XL perspective once again. A lot of boots on the ground down there. So let's get to more from Ryan Nielsen. Again, Tone, this is the guy who's, for the first week, stock up, right? I mean, those columns, stock up, stock down. He is definitely a stock up guy for the reviews that his defense has gotten, the coverage that they put on there. Going to be interesting to hear some of the reports as they start to trickle in from, the full padded practice and what kind of periods they're running out there today. But you mentioned, as we're heading into break, if you thought he had praise for Devin Lloyd, wait till you hear what he has to say about another linebacker. I was guessing it wasn't Chad Muma or Ventrell Miller, and I was right. Foye Oluokun, and here's Ryan Nielsen talking about how he is just flying around out there probably more than anybody else.
Smart, tough, aggressive. You see a guy who, add one more if I could, phenomenal effort player. He's flying around as good as any player we have on our defense right now. You see him, if you just watch his body of work and you just watch him at practice today, the way he finishes plays, he's aggressively going to get the ball punch outs. And he's had a really good career so far. And so you're seeing that. It's really cool to watch him because he's taken his role and kind of made it his. And that's what we try to do for all the players is, hey, here's fundamentals technique and, make it yours. And that's what he's doing. It's really cool when he's the ball goes to the other side and he's running 30 yards down the field to go finish on the play. That guy loves football. He's given everything he got for this football team.
What do they say? Find someone who looks at you the way Ryan Nielsen looks at Foye Oluokun. But seriously, the first word he used to describe both Devin Lloyd and Foye, smart. He loves this pair of linebackers so far. And again, he said nothing but praise for the raw material he's had to work with.
Yeah, Foye's been an Energizer Bunny type guy since he got here, right? And we talk to Logs about it week to week, right? When we have him in for a check the tape, and it's remarkable that this guy, you can't tell when you just put a rep on whether it's fourth quarter or first
Never
quarter.
comes off the field, plays every snap, and plays each one, like his butt's on fire.
Yeah, it's incredible what Foye is able to do out there on the field. Hayes Carline had the chance to catch up with Foye after practice yesterday, and apparently he's enjoying being in this new defense with Ryan Nielsen as well.
I'm enjoying it. Excited to see. I'm going to see exactly where he wants to be. We're trying a little bit new stuff out. We got great linebacker room, so just trying to find all of our strengths and weaknesses, or not our weaknesses, improve our weaknesses, I guess, but trying to find out what each of us are the best at and put us in those positions, and then learn the defense as fast as possible, communicate with each other. And we just made a lot of strides since last year, just growing together as a unit. So I'm excited to see, Devin, Chad, Caleb, Ty, Ventrell, came a great long way. Everybody's been taking a step up, so let's keep doing that, keep growing, as I said earlier, and see what we do in the season.
He did talk more about that, and you can find Hayes' entire interview with Foye from yesterday. Go to the on-demand section on 1010XL.com, the Jaguars section for 1010XL on YouTube. There's lots of places you can watch that interview and listen to it in its entirety, but wanted to hear what he had to say about Devin Lloyd, as we already heard Ryan Nielsen praising the next linebacker in the pecking order behind Foye, and he said he's excited for what he thinks Lloyd is going to bring.
He's just growing as a leader, really. I think he's always been a real talented guy, just growing as a guy that people can look to, have confidence in the defense. Obviously he is bigger, and he's moving really well with it. So, I think, you keep that weight, you start pushing people around, all of a sudden you become that bully on the field, and his mentality will come back, being that guy out there, being the top dog. So I'm excited for Devin, put it that way.
One more here from Foye. We all know the defense has been ahead of the offense to this point in training camp, and Foye was asked by Hayes Carline yesterday, why is the defense so far of the offense this early on in camp?
We don't have pads on. When they have pads, the O-line can block a little bit better. We're not really pressuring too much, but it's my 7th year now. Defensive line, like I say, they got a whole bunch of sacks, and then when the pads come on, offensive line does a little bit better. But I like the energy we're playing with. Definitely getting the quarterback disruption, ball disruption on the outside. That's what we're preaching right now. Disrupt routes, timing, and all that. Being sticky in coverage after that, you have to see the quarterback. If that first read's not there, he got to hold it and run around. So execution-wise, it's nice to see we're doing that early, but obviously when the pads come on, we have to take it up a little bit higher of a level to keep executing the way we are now.
Good stuff from Foye Oluwakin with Hayes Carline yesterday. And we'll get back to Ryan Nielsen, Tony, when we return to start talking about some of these defensive backs that have been catching people's eyes, including Ronald Darby, who's come in and has probably put a big smile on their face and given them everything they could have hoped for through the first week of training camp so far. Still a long way to go. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you, 641-1010. If you want to get in with a comment or a question on Jaguar training camp, you're certainly welcome to do that on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. People ask me all the time, is it really as good as you tell us it is? Absolutely it is. I'm living proof of it. Dropped the weight last September. I was already losing weight, and sometimes it's that last push. Maybe you've got 10 to go, 15 to go. I had about 25 to go. Knocked it out in 1 month and haven't put a pound back on. That's the beauty of Awaken 180. It can work for you no matter what situation you're in. Maybe you only need to lose a pesky 10 pounds that have been hanging around your midsection for a while. Maybe you need to lose over 100. Awaken 180 can help you on any end of the spectrum, and the beauty is, as they promise, they'll help you keep the weight off with free coaching and support for life once you hit your goal weight. That's right, free coaching and support for life. It's been fantastic for me, for Matt Hayes, for Hacker. The results are truly evident. If you see us, you could be the next success story with Awaken 180 if you call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or schedule a free consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
This patriotic chant mirrors the enthusiastic efforts our American athletes have dedicated to their quest for a gold medal at this summer's Olympics in Paris. USAPark.net Airport Parking is your safe and secure parking for when you fly out of JIA. No matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to the Olympics to support our athletes or just visiting Grandma, remember to park at USAPark.net.
Got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
1010XL breaks down training camp all day. Listen for camp news with analysis and insight from the practice feed. Everything counts! 1010XL's training camp coverage is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can Program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
We will be perfect.
Training camp.
You drop a pass, you run a mile.
Nobody covers camp like 1010XL. Get daily training camp coverage brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Perfection
on 1010XL.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing sports. Fall and winter registration is underway. Log on to i9sports.com and see all they've got to offer. Kids 3 and up. You can enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for fall and winter. Great locations added like Fort Family Field, Westside Middle, and Duval Charter Bay Meadows. It's all online at i9sports.com.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey, John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage, too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
Family owned and managed for 20 years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming golfing atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
What's changed totally inside and out? The Kuhn Flowers massive storefront, and yes, they've totally remodeled the showroom inside too. This is Frank Frangie, and the next time you drive by, stop and smell the roses at Kuhn Flowers.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
With talk of the offense off to a slow start in training camp, wide receiver Christian Kirk spoke to media on the offense's good and bad days, trying to work out the kinks ahead of the season.
We've had some good days, we've had some bad days, but that's part of training camp. It's all a learning experience, and I feel like as an offense, we have some young players that are still kind of getting their feet wet, but they're doing a good job of playing hard, giving a lot of effort. There's a lot of talent. So I think it's just, finding that happy medium of, making mistakes and learning from them, but also having a sense of urgency of getting better, competing, and taking that next step as an offense.
Courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark. You can weigh in on what kind of season you're expecting from Devin Lloyd. Our Jaguars Today question today, presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. We'll take a look at that poll a little bit later on and weigh in ourselves on that. Something catch your eye there?
It's Paul Kaharski just tweeted out that Titans edge Arden Key facing 6-game suspension. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but
Kaharski's a pretty reliable
guy. He at least put it out there, so we'll see what's
I'm sure,
going on
Tony,
with that. Yeah.
He probably went to the same pharmacy as Danico Autry, right? I mean, former teammates, so it only makes sense that they went to the same pharmacy who is all of a sudden tainting their nasal spray or whatever.
Right, because it's really hard to tell when you're at a pharmacy that you're helping an NFL athlete because they look like a regular person.
Let's just put some steroids in their prescription and go with that. So I don't know. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy is what I would say about that. All right, let's get to the lines because we threw the number out there at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. You can also hit us up on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You can hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat as well. A lot of ways to communicate with the program, and sometimes we even acknowledge them. So let's go to Charles on the west side here to start things off this morning on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning. Hey, guys, my question relates to the O-line, where lately you guys have been talking about zone blocking, and I don't quite understand. I mean, are they at the snap, are they moving out to block something in space, or are they supposed to get the guy in front of them? So I don't quite understand the intricacies of that. Could you kind of briefly tell me what the difference is?
Absolutely. I mean, a guy like Tom McManus would be able to describe this better than we could. But, yeah, I do think, Tony, depending on which way the play is going to go, you try to set up a cutback lane or give your running back options that he reads the blocking scheme. Sometimes in that zone blocking, like you said, you do take the guy who's right there because he's in your zone, right? But think back to the heyday in the late 90s of Terrell Davis and every other running back they seemed to put in that scheme in Denver. They would stretch you out defensively, like the offensive line moves in sync, and that's one of the things they like about Ezra Cleveland, right? He is an offensive lineman with great movement skills.
Yeah.
And, so maybe you pull that guard from the left side and he's coming around to the right side, but whatever, you're stretching guys out, and you can take it around the edge if you get the seal on the edge. You can cut it straight up the field, or what is generally the most effective if everything clicks, you get guys that get strung out on the defense, and it creates a hole somewhere that you've got to be very decisive as the running back. As they say, stick your foot in the ground, make that one cut, and when you do, you're cutting against the grain of the way the entire defense is moving. And when it works, it's a beautiful thing, you know?
And it explains why, for Charles, it explains why the Jaguars emphasize the athleticism and movement ability of their offensive linemen more than they do brute attacking force along their offensive line. And it explains to some degree why they had some of the issues in short yardage that they do, because they are a group that is more built for that movement kind of thing. Now, 3rd and 1 shouldn't be the kind of problem it has been for Jacksonville, but it explains why one person just has to be a little bit off on that kind of play for an offensive line that's built the way Jacksonville is built, and everything collapses.
That being said, short yardage, quote from Dave Campo, like 2 days ago out at practice. When you get in a short yardage situation, there's no such thing as zone blocking.
Right.
It's there. That's not what you're doing.
Manhandle the guy in front of you.
Now, maybe if it's 3rd and 1 at the 45-yard line, you're doing it thinking if we don't pick it up, we're going to go for it. But if you're talking about goal line, balls on the 1, you're not trying to stretch guys out, because that gives defensive guys time to fill, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for that extra half second. So it's more, can you do both? And Mitch Morse is a guy that is a point of attack blocker, right? I mean, that's his reputation, at least, that he can move people in a short area. So, yes, there's going to be a lot of zone blocking, but again, this according to Coach Campo, that all goes out the window for any zone blocking team when you get in that 3rd and 1, that 4th and 1, that goal line type situation. You still have to be able to physically move the guy who's right in front of you.
Absolutely. That's the job on those plays. Now, when you have a bunch of guys that you brought in because you like them for what they give you in a zone blocking scheme and the athleticism, well, they're not going to be the strongest at doing the other. It's not that that's not going to be their job, on those plays. And they get in a situation, look, we got to get a yard, get us the yard. That's obviously the job that they have in that situation. They're probably not as well qualified to do that as they are to do all the other stuff that you would be asking them to do when you're doing more of the zone blocking thing. That doesn't mean that they're not capable of it, but they're probably not the best, most qualified for that specific situation. But your offense is more functional with those guys, given everything else they can give you. As I've said often here for the last couple of years, just stay out of the way. Right? 3rd and 1, the job, I get it. You guys are a bunch of athletic guys. That's why you're here. They like all the different things you can do, your movement skills, all those things. They love that about you guys. 3rd and 1, I don't care about any of that. Get the yard.
Yeah.
That's the job. And we know that that's what's put on those guys. They're less high quality at that than they are at the other. That doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it at a higher level than we saw them do last year.
That being said, I mean, Mitch Morse is regarded as the best returning run blocking center in the league.
Absolutely.
So I think he can. I mean, he's got that mountain man look to him. You know, like I feel like he and Sheriff next to each other probably like, you know, I'm pretty content not having to string this thing out. Let's just bust the guy in front. It's easier, you know, in a sense that it's just brute force, and I think that's what you'll see them try to run over the right side.
Yeah.
Quite a bit in those circumstances, and hopefully they will have success. Charles, hopefully we didn't confuse you more than you were when you called in, but we appreciate the call. Let's go to our man Byron in Gainesville. Good morning, Byron. How are you? Duval! I knew I could count on you, Byron. What's going on, buddy?
Man, I just want to say, guys, I was going to get up there. I'm really originally from Clearwater, Tampa, and I had problems with family down there. And I wanted to get up to practice, so guys, I'm going to get up there soon, but I'll say this. You know, I'm not a transplant, but sort of. But Tampa was originally my team, but I'm a Jag for life. But, man, don't seem like they have the fire, the flavor. And I'm a shout-out to 10-10, man, in Jacksonville, man. And also I want to just say we should be fired up. You know, I'm not working for Shad and those guys, but I'm impressed with I think he spent more money. He's trying to invest in the team, hopefully in the city, but I like Balky. I like the coaching staff. And I'm fired up. Now, let me say this to be the devil's advocate of myself. You guys were talking about Richardson and Levitt, and I don't even mention CJ. But really, we were even talking college, and I know this is a pro show, but if you're in certain conferences, this is going to be a hell of a year. And so the worries with me is I've never seen the NFL tougher. But, guys, I'm just saying that to say this is going to be a fun year. Whether you like college or pro, I'm ready for some football. Go 10-10 XL.
Duval, thank you, Byron. Look, we take all comers, man. Like there are a lot of us. I was a Jets fan growing up. Frangie was a Steelers fan. Tony was right. Dylan, you know, he's Generation Jaguar. He grew up here in Jacksonville in the Jaguar era. So hey, look, you know, when you didn't have a team, it's understandable. You rooted for somebody else. We wish the best for your family, whatever you got going on out there. This from Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence so far through team periods, 16 out of 17. The incompletion was a drop. He completed 16 in a row, as Demetrius put it. Seems nice to me. He just threw 2 touchdowns in a row. I think Demetrius is of the mind of the RELAX, as we talked about. You know, he wrote the big column on Trevor and reasons to be excited about his growth and what he's shown already in 3 years in the league. But that's what I want to hear, Tone. I want to hear, all right, the pads are on. Trevor Lawrence is tearing it up. He's deadly accurate. 16 out of 17, and the one was a drop. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Stack a few of these together.
I'm more convinced than ever. He just doesn't need to participate till the pads go on.
Maybe that's it, right? and people are, oh, you know, you got all worked up when he's having a bad day. We're going to report on what we see.
Yeah.
It's
been a slow start on offense.
Sluggish
for everybody on that side. It's been a bad start on offense for the entire camp.
And yes, you acknowledge that means it's probably somewhat influenced by a really good start by the defense, and we try to acknowledge that. And you try to balance and like, what is the root cause of some of these things? And you hear from the coaches, and you're hey, you know, we're running this. We're not really game planning. We're not scheming against a particular defensive play call or whatever the case may be. But that's what I want to start to hear. You know, I want to hear more of these kind of reports that the ball doesn't hit the ground, and this isn't team. This is not thrown against air out there. So that's a good sign. From Demetrius, who, by the way, we invited him in for the roundtable on Thursday. I just don't think his schedule is going to allow for him to join John Shipley in studio here with us. Shall we get back to a little bit of Ryan Nielsen here? Well, we've got a moment or two before the break, Tone. We teased the DB, so let's get a couple of thoughts in on that because they have been playing very well. The coverage has been very tight from what we've seen, and Ryan Nielsen said the DBs talk to them about winning every single rep.
Yeah, one of our things really at all position groups with secondary, is talk to our guys about winning every rep. That's really important, winning every rep. What does that mean? Is you don't have to make every play, but proper stance, proper eyes, fundamentals, technique, scheme, just win every rep. And I think you're seeing a group of guys that have really taken to that. The coaching, Chris, Richard, Corey Robinson, and Mike Gray have done a phenomenal job with that group and just teaching them the fundamentals and technique in order to have success. And so that's another part of it. The guys are really bought in on the fundamentals and technique of those guys are teaching them. And then they've really, the scheme that we're doing, there's some checks and things like that, and those guys they're smart players back there. And so the combination, but we're a one day at a time group, and today's another day, so it'll be another good challenge for that group. But they've done a good job so far.
It's more of what you hear from Ryan Nielsen, and what these players reflect. It's attention to detail, the little stuff. Win the rep, have the proper leverage, have the proper stance, have the, you're not going to win. You're not going to stop the other team every time.
No, but that's the stuff that wins long term.
Yeah, put yourself in position to make the play.
Yeah, that's how turnovers happen in the league. You're in the right spot more often than you're not, right? You prevent a bunch of big plays by doing the job, play to play, and being in position. One more here on the secondary, specifically Ronald Darby, who Nielsen said this morning has been a huge help, especially to the younger players in that Jaguars secondary.
He's been a huge help to the younger players. He's been a great mentor to Trey and Jarian. He's been funny. You see him talking to him on the side, and those guys are just soaking up all that knowledge. But he's a savvy vet. He's made a lot of plays, been in a lot of good defense, and so he understands what's that about. And a lot of that is practice. He's a really good practice player. And that's something that you don't know when you're doing the free agent about how good is he on the practice field. And he's phenomenal on the practice field. And so those guys are seeing his work ethic and how he does drills and his mindset and everything. And so, yeah, it's absolutely a huge help.
It's interesting, right? Like you see the game film and you think, oh, that's clearly the most important thing. And it is in the end, no matter how you practice. But that, unless you have some intel, maybe with guys that played with them and are willing to share those thoughts, depending on if they're, free agents themselves or on another team or whatever, you don't know. Is Ronald Darby going to be that guy that gives it to you every single rep, down in, down out in practice? And apparently he is. I mean, he was kind of like, when we list the free agent signings and new additions to this team, pretty far down the list of the guys that got us initially excited. But, man, his play has everybody excited at this point in time. I'd be hard-pressed to believe that Jarian Jones is going to start over him at least to open the season the way that Darby's come in, as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, look, we'll see what they want to do. Again, in the 2024 NFL, it's really 3 starting corner positions. So trying to figure out who's going to play where, opposite Tyson Campbell on the outside, and whoever they're going to have in the slot. The way it's being talked about right now, Darby may be the guy that they wind up playing in the slot when they're in those kind of positions early on in the season. That still means someone's playing outside of him, right? So maybe Jarian Jones is the one leading the race for that kind of thing right now. It's for a team that hasn't had a whole lot of depth options at corner in a while, right? It does sound like they have maybe some kind of depth on the roster for the first time in a few years at the cornerback position, at least the
Christian
potential.
Braswell's having a good camp.
Right. Who apparently, I saw Shipley talking about that this morning, that the team has really liked Braswell for a couple of years now. And it hadn't shown up on the field yet, but he's having a really good camp. And we'll see what kind of dividends that pays for the football team.
How often do you look around the National Football League and go, where did they get that guy? Right? Where did he pop up? He's been on their roster for a couple of years. Some guys take that path. Not everybody is.
And corner is not. It's not uncommon for that to happen at corner specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. More from Ryan Nielsen. We'll also get to Christian Kirk in hour number 2. Tony will take us around the rest of the National Football League. If you want to get in, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. You're certainly welcome to. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Door Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Save money while beautifying your home with Renewal by Andersen with their energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Their exclusive Fibrex product is chic, tough, easy to maintain, and twice as strong as vinyl. Right now, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free, plus 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
What's a backflow preventer? In layman's terms, it's a device that stops water from flowing backward in your pipes, which is required to keep drinking water safe and free of any contamination. Here at Duck Duck Rooter, we offer everything you need to keep your water backflow prevention device up to date. From installation to routine testing, Duck Duck Rooter will make sure your drinking water is clean and safe from contamination. Contact us today to schedule your backflow testing, repair, or installation. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Storms are part of every season. Make sure you're protected. Call American Electrical to make sure you have the best in surge protection. Don't lose your home electronics to a lightning strike. Call 737-7770 for American Electrical.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by FIS is home this week at 121 Financial Ballpark. Bring your dog tonight on a Forever Vets Dog Day. Tomorrow is ViStar Good as Everywhere Wednesday featuring Dreams Come True. Get the weekend started with Coors Light Thirsty Thursday and we'll have fireworks Friday and Saturday. Baseball all week and weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
Was there ever a pope who was the pope more than once? The answer next.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to ask your agent about your homeowner's coverage. It's time to make the change to Southern Oak Insurance.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Pope Benedict IX, who is 11 years old, is the only person to be named pope 2 times.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours. Imagine driving a late model Corvette, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, Honda, Chevy, Ford, and more, all at a fraction of the original sticker price. Visit Vaughn Motor Group's indoor showroom and browse a great selection of dream cars that are inspected with warranties. Before you make your next auto purchase, check out Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard or at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. Clayton, I know you're the head diamond buyer at Underwoods, and you travel to the markets to buy diamonds. Why don't you just look at an emailed list and have them send you the diamond?
Frank, there are a couple of reasons we go straight to the source when we're selecting the diamonds we want to put the Underwood name on. First, as an expert diamond buyer, I have to see a diamond before I can really judge its beauty versus the price it's being offered at. Second, when we're at the source, we have huge selections to choose our diamonds from, so we don't have to compromise the Underwood quality standard. The result is we control what goes into our diamond stock instead of allowing a diamond dealer to send us what he wants us to have. The bottom line is we're able to offer our customers carefully selected, beautiful diamonds that we're proud to have carry the Underwood name.
Underwoods, serving excellence since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Nick in here for Bow 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bow 9. Visit Bow 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bow 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Hello,
First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
The coolest thing going on right now is the summer fan sale with 3 ways to save at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Browse their huge selection of high-quality fans to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Buy 1 fan, save 10%. Buy 2, save 15%. Buy 3 or more and save 20% off summer pricing on all fans. Visit their showroom near the avenues while inventory is still available and discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water throughout your home, call your local water boy. We install equipment to solve any water problem. WaterBoyJax.com.
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Florida quarterback Graham Mertz has been named to the 2024 Maxwell Award preseason watch list. The recognition comes following a season which saw Mertz become one of the most efficient passers in the country, finishing 3rd in the nation in completion percentage. FSU running back Roydell Williams, following practice, commented on the running back room.
Taking care of the football, holding each other accountable each and every day, and pushing each other, not just in that room, but in every room in this building.
University of Florida baseball, which saw a number of players drafted by the MLB, got a key player back when starting shortstop Colby Shelton announced on Monday his return to Gainesville for next season. Sheldon was a major get out of the transfer portal last year. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:58, it's 85 degrees. Time at 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Did the USA just go down in flames in a badminton singles match?
Are you serious?
I think we might have right there, yeah.
I just lost $100.
Did you?
No,
I wouldn't doubt it. Doubt it.
I'm not a degenerate.
You're a little bit of one. Maybe not that. Have you bet on anything on the Olympics?
No. I haven't bet anything since football season.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You know, you do you.
Actually, I take that back. I did bet on the Open in golf. Almost won. But since then, just football.
Almost won.
Yeah. So they say.
They pay for
Sounds
almost
like a gambler.
Yeah, a little bit.
Lost by 4 strokes.
That was
in a group.
Not that close. But
yep.
Close enough. Whatever. As long as it makes you happy. Look, if you do it within your own budget and you do it
be responsible
as entertainment and
sure,
have it be your disposable income. You're a grown man. You can do whatever you like.
If you have the discipline to say I have this much to have fun when I go to Vegas, then spend that much to have fun. Fine.
I watched none of the Olympics yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll just get the headlines. I know tomorrow the USA men's basketball team in the 3:00-ish tip off. So I will definitely check that one out. But I'll watch the ladies basketball. I'll watch the soccer. Those are the ones I'm most interested in.
Yeah, I don't have anything I'm locked in for. Like, if I come across it whenever I'm looking for something to watch, I'm like, okay, I'll see what's going on with the Olympics every now and then.
I think that the USA, even though South Sudan gave them a hell of a game in the tune-up, they've got Puerto Rico and South Sudan in the next couple games. They should breeze through into the single elimination round.
Yeah, it's not a proud thing for me necessarily to share this, but honestly, between the Winter and Summer Olympics, honest truth, the only event I get locked in for is U.S. curling.
Oh, I know you're a curling guy.
Like, I'm not going to miss them curling. Like, that's the thing that I find out what time they're doing that, and I'll watch it. I'll watch curling during the off season, which is pretty much the other 3.5 years, right? If it's on TV, I'll sit there and watch. I'm fascinated by it. I'm not saying everybody should be.
Will cornhole ever make it to the Olympics?
Yes.
Well,
eventually.
I mean, it's expanded so much, right?
I watched quite a bit of cornhole during the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the only sport that was on TV.
Air quotes.
Yeah, they would put those events on, which were funny because they were still doing this social distancing and everyone wearing the mask and all that during the events, but they were still having something on, so I got to watch some beer drinkers throw.
Why not?
It's
ESPN The Ocho.
It's competitive. I'll watch it if it's competitive to some degree. Yeah.
All right, why don't you, Tony, see what the competition, speaking of competitive, around the National Football League is up to and take us on a tour.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Indianapolis defensive end Samson Ebukam suffered a torn Achilles in practice on Sunday. Will miss the entire 2024 season. Get well soon, E.T. Houston defensive lineman Danico Autry has been suspended 6 games for violating the league's policy on performance-enhancing substances. Paul Kaharski tweeted this morning that a 6-game suspension being announced for Arden Key is expected to be coming down soon. Carolina defensive back Sam Franklin suffered a broken foot on Saturday. Head coach Dave Canales said that he is hopeful that he'll be able to return sometime during this season. Carolina has also placed running back Rashad Penny on the reserve/retired list, who said 3 days ago that he would be considered among the top in the league at running back. Well, now he's retired, so maybe he's going to be a top coach somewhere. Cleveland has placed center Brian Allen on the injured reserve with a calf injury. Buffalo wide receiver Chase Claypool is day-to-day with a toe injury. New Orleans head coach Dennis Allen said on Monday that cornerback Marshawn Lattimore suffered a hip flexor that he called concerning. No update on how much time he may miss. San Francisco has activated wide receiver Ricky Pearsall off of their non-football injury list, and he is expected to participate at training camp for the first time today. And New England defensive lineman Christian Barmore was in the hospital this weekend being treated for blood clots. Patriots head coach Gerard Mayo said on Monday that Barmore is out of the hospital and in, quote, good spirits, end quote. You read the reports coming out of New England's practices, it's been chaotic early on for the Patriots.
Yeah, apparently Drake May not doing so hot up there. I had a reporter on it, and his observations didn't jibe with everything I'm hearing out of there, so take it for what it's worth. But last Friday, he claimed that Joe Milton was having the best camp of any Patriots quarterback, which is disturbing because Joe Milton has zero chance to actually play for that team ahead of Brissett and Drake May, but so be it. I think it was more caught his eye with a couple of highlight throws, and he'll do that in training camp. He's got that freaking howitzer on his shoulder, man.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right, let's get a couple here from Ryan Nielsen, then we'll get to the offensive side with Christian Kirk here coming up. Ryan Nielsen, just a final few thoughts here on the young guys adjusting to a new defense.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you have to go through it, but then there's other guys that are going to help lead them. And hey, just follow these guys, and they know how to do it until you learn it on your own. So, but a lot of that is coming together as a collective group, a defensive team, and that's a whole organizational thing that we're talking about, right? How to win, how to be a winner, win forever, and do it better than it's ever done before. I mean, that's kind of a goal that you have is, be a championship team and be the best team that ever was. And if you strive for that, and it's always consistently pushing a daily, push for excellence, you establish some of that mindset and culture that you want, and that's what we're doing this year.
One of the most common answers to our question of the day yesterday, just what player are you most looking forward to with the Pats going on, was Mason Smith. And talking about some of the young players on this team with defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen, he mentioned Mason Smith specifically, but a bunch of the other rookies that are adjusting to the National Football League.
Part of being a rookie is you have a little bit more time requirements in terms of meetings and fundamentals, and so that's helped him. The guys on the staff have done a really good job. But one of our things is, equal reps for everybody. And so what do you do with your reps? Doesn't matter who it's against. And then those other guys that you mentioned, they're good football players, and they're mentoring him and how to do it, how to be a practice player, take care of your body and things like that. And so the combination has been really good for him. Today's the first day of pads, so rookie's first day of pads it's going to be really interesting to see all these guys. It's a cool day, but just expect nothing but him going out there and doing the best he can.
A cool day temperature-wise, so the players getting a nice little break there. Tony, just following up on the report you mentioned earlier, Paul Kaharski's deal. It is a performance-enhancing drug suspension for Arden Key, who's, by the way, slated to start for Tennessee up front. Can we get them scheduled in the first 6 weeks of the season, too?
Opposite Harold Landry.
Yeah.
There now, yeah.
So, I mean, they've got some other talented guys on the defensive line. Obviously, Jeffrey Simmons. They drafted Tavondre Sweat. But, you take out a projected starting edge rusher.
Sure.
Got to have some kind of an impact. So, all right, let's get to the Jags on the offensive side. Christian Kirk, well trusted by Trevor Lawrence. Every drill, he's the first wide receiver, taking the rep, as you would expect. He's the leader of that unit. And the rest, I remarked after the first day of practice, it's kind of interesting to see what the order was as they're going through the ladder drills. The one thing that has remained consistent, Kirk, Davis, Thomas, lead them in any drill that they have. Those are the first three guys leading things out there. And, Kirk acknowledging that, hey, you're not going to win it every single day versus your opposite number, and there have been good and bad days for the Jaguars offense.
We've had some good days, we've had some bad days, but that's part of training camp. It's all a learning experience, and, I feel like as an offense we have some young players that are still kind of getting their feet wet, but they're doing a good job of playing hard, giving a lot of effort. There's a lot of talent. So I think it's just, finding that happy medium of, making mistakes and learning from them, but also having a sense of urgency of getting better, competing, and taking that next step as an offense.
As we mentioned a few moments ago, it sounds like it's been a good first day in pads for Trevor Lawrence on the offensive side today. If nothing else, we'll see how that looks going into tomorrow. But Christian Kirk was also asked the natural follow-up there. Has it been frustrating on the offensive side given the struggles they've had here early on in camp?
It definitely is a little difficult. As competitors, I think there should be a little bit of you that is a little frustrated and definitely has a little bit of, anger, as you want to say, because we're out there competing. Yes, it's our teammates that we're competing against, but I go out every single day and I want to win, and I want to beat the guy that's lined up on the other side for me. So, when things aren't going our way, it definitely gets frustrating at times, but you also have to keep the end goal in mind.
Look, the end goal is let's win a bunch of football games, right? Yeah. And I one of the things the Jags have done this offseason, clearly, with the additions of Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas, want to be able to push the ball downfield and get some more quick strikes, get those easy drives on occasion, which is nice. But right now, Christian Kirk says really the emphasis at this stage of training camp is more about the short and intermediate routes.
Yeah, I think right now the emphasis has been more on the shorter and intermediate passes, especially early on, really just getting our base kind of bread and butter plays going. And then as camp kind of goes on and we evolve, the pads come on, the line's able to protect a little better up front, due to the physicality, not having pads on, we'll be able to start trying to push the ball down the field, really start to get into like our max pro stuff, play action pass. So like I said, right now it's just kind of putting in the foundation, and then you kind of accelerate from there.
A couple of the faces that they've added in that wide receiver group alongside Christian Kirk and Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis. And Christian was asked how the addition of those two guys is helping his game going into 2024.
Well, I think just their dynamic ability, especially on the outside, to be able to create plays down the field, their bigger bodies, so even, across the middle and intermediate passes. But, when it comes to bringing in different wide receivers, especially for this system, everybody has to play everywhere. I have to be able to go in the backfield, play outside as well, play inside, and, same goes for Brian and Gabe. They'll be inside as well. So they're both really smart players, and I think that's the one thing that kind of sticks out is you can kind of put them everywhere, and they're very diverse. So I think our games complement each other well, and we're just excited to keep developing them and their relationship with Trevor.
You want it all immediately, right? Like, we're greedy. We want to see Brian Thomas walk in and look like an alpha receiver. You're hearing reports about Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. and what they're doing in training camp. I'm wondering, Tony, if yesterday catching a long touchdown in tight coverage with Ronald Darby on him from Trevor Lawrence does get Brian Thomas going here a little bit in training camp. Sometimes, sure. He's got to be a confident guy. He's aware of how talented he is, but still, you get to this stage, maybe, sometimes it takes that one big play and you're like, okay, now I can relax a little, show what I'm all about. The one thing that he hasn't done is be very vocal. He's coming into a situation, very young guy, a lot of veterans around, and Christian Kirk kind of joked that they're fining him, that is Brian Thomas Jr., to get him to speak up more.
We just fine the crap out of him. We just give him fines, random fines, and make him pay us some money.
What's the funniest one you find him for yet?
Oh, we have some funny ones in the room. One of them that always gets guys is if you answer a question when it's not asked to you, that's $100. So we usually get guys pretty good with that one. But no, BT's been great. We're still waiting on our snacks though, so he's got some coming for him if we don't get those snacks by tomorrow. But he's been a good sport about it. He comes in every day with just a level mind, level mood, and we're gonna crack him soon.
Yeah, I mean, you could send him on a few different little errands like that. We need certain snacks. I've never was a fan of, embarrassing guys, right? The whole tape them to the goalpost thing I thought was a little ridiculous or whatever, but I think he can afford to buy snacks for the receiver room.
Yes.
Take their order and in
a timely manner.
Exactly,
if
right.
they say we need it in this amount of time, then you don't have to push it to the end of that time.
We know you got 4.3 speed.
Yeah,
let's go. Show us. All right, we'll check in with Hayes Carline on the other side, get a camp report from him. Trevor Lawrence having, by all accounts, an outstanding day out at practice, which is exactly what I love to hear about the Jaguars franchise quarterback. And people take exception. Is he really a franchise quarterback? Well, they've committed to him that he is the franchise. That doesn't mean that's not a reflection of level of play. That's more a reflection of level of commitment of what he means to this organization. So now, does he need to play like that? Absolutely. He needs to play like that. So when you hear a team period like today, 16 out of 17, and the one incomplete was a drop, that's what we're talking about to get you a little excited about the offensive side of the ball. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. We continue on with Jaguars Today on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update. Brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games, sponsored by Westin Hotels and Resorts. Find wellness at Westin. Simone Biles has done it all. 9-time national champion, 6-time world champ. But 3 years ago in Tokyo, when she was expected to lead the U.S. in the team competition, she stepped aside, battling mental issues. She was away from gymnastics for 2 years, but back now, and maybe even better than ever. Biles at 27 will lead the U.S. squad. The team competition starts in a little over an hour. Coco Gauff upset by Croatia's Donna Vekic, but 3 Americans are moving on. Danielle Collins won a 3-setter. So did Taylor Fritz over Great Britain's Jack Breaker. Tommy Paul won easily 6-3, 6-1. Today was to be the men's triathlon with the swimming in the Seine River, where public swimming has not been allowed for more than a century. 2 weeks ago, the mayor of Paris jumped in to show that the water in the river was clean. It's not. The triathlon postponed due to poor water quality. John Stanshauer, Westwood One Sports.
Wellness means something different to each of us. And at Westin Hotels and Resorts, we believe every step is an opportunity to enhance your well-being. Whether it's guided group runs and workout gear on demand, or nourishing food options and restorative rest in our heavenly bed, when you travel, you can find wellness at Westin, one of 30 hotel brands in the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio. Find wellness at Westin.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Join the fun with XL Primetime, Tuesday, August 6th at Firehouse Subs in San Marco. Get pictures and autographs from Jags players, cheerleaders, and Jackson DeVille. Tuesday, August 6th, 2 to 4 at Firehouse Subs in San Marco.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Vegas, baby. This is Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels, and we're sending one lucky listener to Circa Resort and Casino this December. Win a free 3-night stay with $200 food and beverage credit, plus a daybed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen at Circa, you'll huddle up with the Heels at the Overhang Bar for our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and giveaways. For a chance to win this all-in package to Circa with Helmets and Heels, enter at 1010XL.com/Vegas.
And if you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, Circa Resort and Casino has a special rate just for Jacksonville fans. Mia here, and for just $500, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 in food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. The all-in package is only available till August 30th, so act now. Book and join the Heels in Vegas. Visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin.
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa! Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Hello, sports fans. Hicken here. Let's talk skin. Iron Beach's Dermatology are reminding you to wear your sunscreen. If you're an active parent hanging at the fields, in your boat to fish, or like to chill at the sandbar, wear sunscreen. But if you're the one that decided for years it's not cool, guess what? Cancer isn't cool either. So when grabbing the clubs for your tea time, gassing up the boat, or grabbing the chairs for your kids' games, make sure you bring the screen. Any concerns now? Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
Mortgage rates are down. Yep, they've been dropping big time. So it's a great time to call Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's got APRs in the 5. So if you got stuck with a high rate last year and you want to refinance, this is a great time to call and lower your payment. Or it can use this opportunity to get cash out of your home's equity and pay off those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, other high rate debt. Loan Pronto can help you use these lower rates to get the cash you need in a matter of days. You can do a full refi, or you can do an Equity Express line of credit. Homeowners who call Loan Pronto typically cut their monthly payments by $850. Bottom line, your home value's way up, mortgage rates have come down, making this a great time to act. So call today for a free 30-second rate quote. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments by calling 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly professionally by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us all better, faster, stronger.
Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
It's repetition. It just takes time to get the chemistry down, figure out what's going on in both of our heads during the routes and what coverages. The more and more we get reps out, the better and better we'll be.
That's Gabe Davis yesterday with Rick Ballou. Full interview can be found wherever you get your 1010XL Jaguar interviews, which is in a multitude of places on the YouTube channel. You can do it on the on-demand section at 1010XL.com. They're all over social media as well, getting posted every single day. Team coverage continuing down there. Hayes Carline is down at practice, but it's running a little bit long today, so he's going to let us know when he's available to come on for a few minutes before we wrap up today, Tony. So let's hear a little bit more. This time, one more guy on the defensive side. Hacker was able to catch up with Devon Hamilton after practice yesterday, and Hamilton remarked that from his time here, the intensity is at an all-time high with Ryan Nielsen taking over this defense.
A lot of detail. I think the intensity as well has been at an all-time high, and I think that's something we need for our team in order to progress and get better throughout this coming season.
You know, again, you hear attention to detail. Mm-hmm. And, again, you go back to Andrew Wingert's comments earlier in the week about how when Doug Marrone was here, it was just, nobody really knew what the hell was going on. You had a defeatist attitude permeating the building. They went into games just going, there's no way we're winning this football game. And, your mentality is not going to win every game for you, but it can give you an edge in the fourth quarter. If it makes a difference on one or two snaps in a game, that can be the difference in the outcome.
Well, it can help you lose a game.
No doubt.
When the mentality is bad. I don't think your mentality is the reason that you're going to win a game, week to week in the NFL necessarily, but it certainly is a factor in having a bad mentality will help you lose, right? You lose some kind of edge. I think it's a game that you have to play with some kind of edge. Or else you're going to find yourself getting trampled by a team that has one. That's the way. It's big boy football out there for these guys. So you have to be able to develop that kind of thing. It's not surprising, given the dividends we've seen early on in camp, that it's a team that's ready to play with an edge, right? And that's an emphasis here early on under Nielsen. He's,
the way the last season ended, it should be enough to give you some kind of an edge coming into this training camp.
And it's not a football team that feels like they're having to reach too far to feel like they should be competing for whatever they want to compete for this year. They're right in the thick of something developing here in Jacksonville. Devon Hamilton with Hacker was also asked about a couple of the rookies on the defensive interior and what exactly they're going to be adding to this team is an open question at this point. Mason Smith, a lot of excitement with him. Jordan Jefferson is a guy who may be the most natural nose tackle they have on the team right now, and we'll see if that's what his role is ultimately going to be, is soaking up some of those kind of snaps. But Devon Hamilton was asked about Mason and Jordan and where they're heading right now.
They're doing really well. I mean, a lot better than most rookies I know. They're really adjusting very well, and I'm just trying to give them just little tips and tricks that vets know, playing the game now for my 5th year. So just trying to give them little tips and stuff.
All right, well, the big question then for Devon Hamilton, are you 100% healthy? Yeah. It was pretty late in the process last year before the season started that Devon Hamilton went from a guy that they were counting on to be huge for them to being a big health question mark. How is he right now?
Yeah, this journey's been a long journey, don't get me wrong, but it's been something I've learned in this process. It's obviously not the thing I wanted to happen. I really wanted to play last year at full capacity, and but this is what God wants me to do. This is God's path for me, so I'm just gonna take it. But also, I feel 100% now. I feel like I'm in stride, just still working through a little bit of kinks and stuff like that. And that is early in camp, but just feeling great right now.
Really, the one guy you're watching for right now is Eric Armstead, who's been able to do some individual stuff, but not participating in the team stuff. I think the feeling is, he's a vet. It's a meniscus cleanup. These are fairly routine off-season procedures in the NFL. It won't be that long until we see him get out there. I'm nowhere near worried about Eric Armstead, but I would like to, by like the second preseason game, I'd like to see him practicing on a regular basis. Not that he's going to play necessarily in that game.
Sure.
But, like to just see what all the puzzle pieces coming together starts to look like for this team.
Yeah, and I think Devon, as we've talked about basically since he got here, right? He's a bit of an enigma as a player. He's a player that they've played a lot at nose tackle in his time here in Jacksonville. I don't know that his best position is nose tackle. Like, I feel like his best position may be 3 technique. On a defense, we've talked about that with McManus a lot. Over the last couple of years, I tend to agree that I think that's probably his best position along the defensive line if they can find a way to use him there. I don't know that there's an easy way to use him there.
I don't either.
Especially this year, because it's a team that needs Devon to play nose tackle more than they need him to play 3 technique when you have Eric Armstead and Roy Robertson-Harris
and Trayvon sliding inside on 3rd down.
Right. Like, those guys aren't nose tackles. Devon could be, right? So his role, it feels like, is going to be very much like it was, especially years 2 and 3 here in Jacksonville. You go back and look at that 2023 season, the numbers on it. He played in 8 games, started 2 for the Jaguars last year. Obviously didn't have a sack because, everything was slow for Devon when he was able to get on the field last year. He had 12 tackles in those 8 games, no quarterback hits. He's never been a big quarterback hit guy, and you wouldn't expect him to be. He's a nose tackle.
Right.
The season before when he had 2.5 sacks, that's really good for a guy that's basically being asked to play nose for your football team. Him having a 2.5, 3 sack season's not bad for a guy playing on the interior of the defensive line, especially when they're plugging the middle of a defensive line. But last year, it just wasn't there. Even when they got him back on the field, I'm curious to see how they want to use all these guys, especially what they want to do at nose tackle. I think is a big open question right now. I think right now it's going to be Devon Hamilton at least to start and see where it goes from there.
I agree with you, but the good thing is they have options.
They do.
They don't have to rush Jordan Jefferson in, but if he shows that his play demands it, particularly on 1st and 2nd down, don't be surprised he's going to get mixed in. They invested in these guys for a reason.
We had 2 years of thinking Foley was going to be a nose tackle, and he never was.
Foley almost did us a solid. You see that a couple days ago? He stepped on C.J. Stroud's foot.
I did, yeah.
But he basically emerged unscathed. I was like one of the great sleeper agent moves of all time there. Foley was attempting to pull off for the Jags. All right, we'll take a final time out here. Hopefully we'll be able to get a few minutes with Hayes Carline on the other side, and we'll take a look at today's Chad and Sandy Real Estate poll question. The question today, what best matches your expectation for Devin Lloyd with the options we gave you in the poll? We'll get into that coming up as well. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
It's time to fire up your grills, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our independent sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our independent sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with Awaken 180. Between increased flexibility, strength, and endurance, braking 100 or 90 or even 80 could be just 40 pounds away. Get there this summer with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Your cooling system isn't working. Maybe somebody showed up with a portable electronic device. Then they discussed with you what your options are. Maybe they gave you an estimate that seems like an awful lot of money. What's the smart thing to do? When the situation merits a second opinion, get a Mike Merritt opinion. Yes, the Mike Merritt Comfort Team shows up with hand tools. We've never been able to fix an air conditioning problem with a tablet. Mike Merritt has been the trusted name for more than 30 years because there's never any hocus pocus. The Merritt team will walk you through the diagnostic steps up close and personal and show you exactly what you need. And the Mike Merritt price is likely to be far less because there's never an overtime charge, and the Merritt team doesn't work on commission. So remember, when it comes to the health of your cooling system, a second opinion can only help, and a Mike Merritt opinion can save you money. Florida license CACO 50384.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
Hey, where's your sense of adventure?
They don't cook, but they serve up spicy sports talk.
Sure, it's on the menu.
Helmets and heels.
That is a meal.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
I-9 Sports wants to make sure kids all over the First Coast can enjoy growing up on a field or in a gym. And right now, fall and winter registration is open. Find out what I-9 Sports offers across Duval, Clay, and St. John's. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Oh, I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Veteran linebacker Foye Oluokun spoke one-on-one with 1010XL's Hayes Carline on new defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen's scheme and is excited to see where everyone fits into it.
I'm enjoying it. Excited to see. I'm going to see exactly where he wants me. We're trying a little bit new stuff out. You know, we got great linebacker room, so just trying to find all of our strengths and weaknesses or improve our weaknesses, I guess, but trying to find out what each of us are the best at and put us in those positions, and then learn the defense as fast as possible, communicate with each other, and we just made a lot of strides since last year, just growing together as a unit. Everybody's been taking a step up. Let's keep doing that, keep growing, as I said earlier, and see what we do in the season.
I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, we are hopeful and efforting Hayes Carline as practice is wrapped up. I think Foye Oluokun spoke after practice, and that has concluded. Typically, though, Hayes is knocking out a one-on-one interview with somebody that you'll hear later on today on the Frangie Show. So if we get Hayes or not, you'll get his reflections on camp, but we hope to bring you some of his thoughts in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, Press Taylor, offensive coordinator, speaking before training camp practice tomorrow for the Jags, and Travis Etienne scheduled to speak after practice tomorrow on Wednesday.
Yeah, Press probably, feeling a little bit better about the way things went, according to the reports today, particularly the team period where Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union detailed Trevor Lawrence going 16 out of 17 with a drop being accounting for the only incompletion in that, hit 16 in a row. But you want to see, right? So that's what we hope to see more of.
He's a gamer. Pads go on, the
that's
game begins.
That's what it is, Tony.
Yeah.
McManus is like, they're in shells. It's funny. I almost manifested Tom out of thin air today, okay? I'm sitting there, and, the more training camp practices you go to, the more you realize if I'm not here at 8:30, I'm really not missing anything. For that certainly the first 15 minutes, maybe the first half hour, you're really not missing that much. But we're like into period 4, and I'm like, I know Tom's coming because the pads are going on today. I'm like, man, I would have thought he would have been here by now. And literally, as that thought crossed my mind, he walked in the gate. Yeah. And it was just, I feel like it was me, Tony. He was not going to come if I did not have that thought. But there he was.
It was the spirit of the sky.
It was the spirit of the sky. It was like a saber-toothed tiger holding some kind of scepter over the whole proceeding is what went down. Is that McManus?
And I'm waving to him
right
in
there?
the window. Yes.
See, I did it again. I did it again. There he is.
It's the second time today you've manifested
I've manifested Tom McManus. I don't know, like if this happens like the third time, is it like saying Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice?
I don't know. I do. It's a pretty lame superpower to have. I can manifest.
It really is, but what's yours? All right, you can't fly. You're not invisible.
It's true.
So
it's true. It's better than having none. I agree.
You know what? Oh, man, we really could use a round of the dad bods here. Oh, hey, there he is up on stage right there, Tommy Mack. So he'll be in with us on Friday, as he typically is. All right, let's get to today's Chad and Sandy Real Estate question of the day from the desk of one Tony Smith, asking, which of these best matches your expectation for Devin Lloyd going into his third year? A, breakout season coming. B, modest improvement. C, solid player at best, or D, a disappointment. Tony Smith, how would you vote in your own poll?
I would vote modest improvement is where I would put it with Devin Lloyd. Breakout season for Devin's a little tough to, again, there are a couple of players on the team that I think it's hard to exactly quantify what breakout would look like, right? I think Trayvon's one of those guys because he just had the double-digit sack season. So if he did have a 14 sack season, sure, that would be a breakout, but I think it's a little bit harder to quantify with Devin as well. You look at his first 2 years with the Jags, he had 115 tackles as a rookie, 127 tackles last year with the team playing in 15 games. It's been basically the same pass defender both years. He had 8 passes defensed his rookie year, 7 passes defensed last year. He recovered 2 fumbles in each of those years. Now, he was a bigger playmaker in the pass game his rookie year, had 3 interceptions that year, didn't have any last season. So I expect maybe those numbers to improve to some degree. I think he's a talented enough player that in this kind of defense, it might open the door for some of the turnover numbers especially to go up for Devin Lloyd, for him to be around that kind of thing, much more like he was his rookie year, where he did get the 3 interceptions and had the 2 fumble recoveries. But expecting way more than that out of him, I think, is a little bit out of bounds for me. I expect some of those numbers to probably stay right around that, maybe get a little bit better. So that's my vote would be modest improvement.
Where I'd like to see, and I voted modest improvement as well. I got the check mark right next to it, and when I did vote there, he does get his hands on the football in coverage, but he also loses guys in coverage at times.
Does.
I would be satisfied that if he did the things he was doing well, if he did them up to that level and just corrected some of the deficiencies. I don't need him to be an 8-sack guy, but if he is, that would represent
a breakout.
A breakout, in a pass rush type capacity. And I voted along with you for modest improvement, where 29% of the vote is going with nearing about 200 on that. Dylan Denmark, how would you see this?
Yeah, I say the same. If it's a breakout, I think from the defensive standpoint, the breakout comes from somebody up front, whether it's Armstead, Hamilton, Trayvon Walker, Mason Smith. I think it's be one of those guys up front because you're closer to the ball, and when you win your one-on-one matchups, you have a better chance to make plays. Not saying Devin Lloyd doesn't, but I think that the breakout comes from somebody up front, if you were to ask me.
All right, here's an interesting question. Why is my foot caught up in something that's about to drag all these computers to the ground? Second interesting question, at least I hope, is if you're going to rank who you would like to have a breakout season on defense, I think I'd put Tyson Campbell at the top of that list. Right? Like if Tyson Campbell had that 6, 7, 8 interception season and got renowned around the league, got more kind of like everyone looked at him as a top 10 corner now. And that was just what was accepted. And it was kind of like the known fact about, I think I would put that at the top. I mean, what could Josh Hines Allen do? I guess he could go north of 20, right? And some of the elite pass rushers do. I might put Trayvon Walker next because if he breaks out, he had a breakout season last year, but there are more levels to unlock potentially. But, he may have a more effective year and have only 8 sacks this year. That's certainly possible. Eric Armstead, I don't know what a breakout would look like for him. Would it be a 12-sack season, something like that? I'm not anticipating those kind of numbers out of him. Foye is Foye. He already plays at an incredibly high level. So maybe Devin Lloyd would be next on that list, but or maybe I'd put again, this is your wish list, being either like Cisco or Antonio Johnson, one of those guys becoming that ball hawking center fielder type that just makes big plays and makes the routine ones, but makes big plays on a semi-consistent basis.
I think Antonio, talking about him as a breakout compared specifically to Tyson, because I do think that's where I would lean to.
Tyson?
Yeah. As far as which player I'd like to see. Right. And him having, one of those 6, 7, 8 interception type years and, being in the 20s somewhere in the passes defense tier in 2024, that would be a breakout season for him. Antonio Johnson, it would be a bit different because of the position that he's playing, right? And the different things that he would be asked to do. Antonio Johnson would have to be more a 3, 4, 5 interception guy and a 4, 5 sack guy, right? Like that kind of thing, plus whatever other turnover stuff he might be around as far as forced fumbles, that kind of thing. That's really hard to quantify for a corner, right? Forced fumbles and fumble recoveries. It's not something you think about with a corner. But with a guy in a player like Antonio Johnson, where he is a bit of a safety corner linebacker hybrid with the things that they can do with them and the things I expect them to do, moving them around in the defense, he has the opportunity to affect a lot more levels of different statistical categories than Tyson Campbell does. But I do think it would have to be at that kind of 5 interception, 5 sack, 5 forced fumble kind of season for him, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility for a guy of his talents. But I think Tyson Campbell, we saw, especially 2 years ago, he was playing at a level where if he had that kind of year last year, we would have been like, yeah, this is what we thought was going to happen.
That's what they think is going to happen. That's what they're paying him to expect to continue to happen.
Absolutely. For him to re-stamp himself among, that top 10 cornerback group in the league is what the Jaguars paid him to be.
Right. Look, Antonio Johnson can have that kind of stuff, the box score type season. And for some reason, safeties don't jump out. Right? You don't often talk about who are the top safeties, the playmaking safeties in the game. So, there are
the
a handful.
Ones that we talk about a lot.
Right.
It's the Tyrann Matthews and those guys. They get talked about
small
plenty.
Group of those guys. But at corner, it's much more reputational. That if Tyson has that kind of year, even sometimes it's not the pure interceptions. It's the passer rating allowed. It's the completion percentage allowed in coverage. It's just the eyeball test when he locks up with number one receivers from other teams, and you go into next year thinking, okay, we've got that guy that can match up with anybody, and hopefully you don't have to wait the next year to see that come to pass, but that kind of season for him could propel him back into that conversation. And again, this is a defense that is so predicated on what the corners do and the ability to play press and take guys on at the line of scrimmage and, go almost in the reverse of you're typically thinking about pass rush creates opportunities where the quarterback has to get the ball out sooner. It helps those defensive backs. Almost a little bit of a reverse with Ryan Nielsen's emphasis on the coverage aspect, leading to, that extra half second for the pass rushers to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, and I think the Devin Lloyd breakout season kind of thing, like if he's going to be the guy who is kind of that breakout guy on the defensive side of the ball, he'll have to do something he hasn't done yet in the first 2 years, and that's hit the quarterback. We thought that he would be a guy that would be...
That'd be the easiest way to recognize a breakout
that would
season.
be allowed to do that kind of thing. Through the first 2 years, it just hadn't happened for him. We'll see if that's something that they open the door for a little bit more this year. And I think it speaks to some degree, the results that we got in the poll this morning is there's a big group of the fan base that keeps expecting year after year that Devin Lloyd is going to be that third pass rusher for him. He's talented enough to do that kind of thing. He's got the body to do it. He did it effectively at Utah when he was asked to do it. He just hadn't done it here in Jacksonville through the first 2 years. Well, now it's year 3, and I understand that there's a big portion of the fan base that is going, this is the year they're finally going to unleash that. I don't really expect it. Like, if it happens, I'll be thrilled if they do. But I don't expect. I think they did it with Foye last year way more than they did Devin, and he was effective doing it, right? So if Devin could be put in those kind of positions that Foye was put in last year, where he did have a 3-sack season, like he had a 2.5-sack season last year, that's pretty good for Devin Lloyd if they get that out, and considering he's had 0 through the first 2 years.
Well, enthusiasm is running rampant because breakout season coming, 54.3% of the vote, over 175 votes now. Modest improvement, 29.7, call it 30%. Solid player at best, drawing 14% and only 1.7% say disappointment. So that's like, 2 votes basically out of
not much there.
What you've gotten right there. And, look, feel how you want to feel about the situation. All right, Dylan, let's put a bow on this one.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, we missed our window with Hayes Carline, but definitely tune in to see who we caught up with after practice, and you'll hear all throughout the afternoon here on Helmets and Heels, XL Primetime, the Frangie Show, continuing coverage of Jaguar training camp into the night with Rick Ballou, Hacker After Dark, and all that stuff. But today, Tone, I'm going to mainline Demetrius Harvey's tweet about Trevor Lawrence in team period. Right? That's what I've been waiting for, that kind of performance that, all right, the pads went on here. This is full team. 16 out of 17 with a drop. So basically 17 out of 17 in terms of accuracy, putting the ball on his receivers. Again, that doesn't mean against Miami he's going to set the NFL record for consecutive completions. I just want to see a few of these days stacked up. And, so today, put a smile on my face to hear those reports. We'll get more details as I know I saw Lauren. I saw the whole Helmets and Heels crew out there. Taylor was out there, Lauren was out there, Mia was out there. So I'm sure you'll get plenty of reporting on that coming up. Johnny O will join us for the second half of the show tomorrow. They're going to be a long practice tomorrow. They're going to go till about this time tomorrow, scheduled to go this time. So
day off on Thursday.
Yep,
so.
Day off on Thursday. So will they be in the pads again tomorrow? I wouldn't doubt it,
Yeah.
Particularly since, it's not like they were just drenched in 98-degree heat this morning. They caught a break on that front. All right, that'll do it for us today. We appreciate all of you sticking with us throughout training camp here on Jaguars Today. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. We're back again tomorrow from 10 to noon. Stick around for Helmets and Heels straight ahead on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
He going to bring us